Hello and a warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV Midday News live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agumofwebe. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Abdul Mokhtar to serve as the national coordinator of the Presidential Unlocking Healthcare Value Chain Initiative, which is domiciled under the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. A statement by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajire Ngelale, says the approval seeks to unlock billions of dollars of new investments into the nation's healthcare delivery system through a time-bound and cross-ministerial collaboration to restructure the ecosystem of health product manufacturing, health logistics services, health technology services, health retail services, health provider facilitation, and health reform, in order to achieve measurable increase in the domestic manufacturing of generic pharmaceuticals, vaccines, biologics, and devices. A two-day training workshop for heads of ministries, departments, and agencies has commenced in Abuja. Gathered at the NAF Conference Center, Kado, Abuja, for the event are the Deputy Senate President, Jibrin Barau, Chairman, Senate Committee on Legislative Compliance, Garaba Medoki, Senate Leader Bayemi Bamidele, and a host of others. The theme of the workshop is the imperative of legislative compliance in deepening democracy and enhancing good governance. Welcoming participants to the event, Senator Medoki said the 10th National Assembly has resolved not to accept non-compliance to laws and resolutions in the nation's political and governance system. The Senate on Tuesday urged the federal government to work with the United Nations to ensure an immediate ceasefire in the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. The Red Chamber also urged the federal government to press for a two-state solution to end the conflicts in which thousands, including women, children, and aid workers, had been killed. These resolutions of the Senate followed its consideration and adoption of a motion sponsored by Senator Adamu Aliero from Kebbi State. Aliero said the casualty figures in the war were horrifying and that if not ended immediately, it may lead to World War III. The House of Representatives has scrapped the budgetary allocation of the presidential yacht and moved to student loan, thereby increasing allocation for student loan to 10 billion naira as against 5.5 billion previously allocated. The chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, Abubakar Bichi, made this known while addressing journalists. In Abuja, Sandra Akbar has details.
Chairman of the House Committee on Appropriations says the need to scrap budgetary allocation of the presidential yacht has become necessary following low budgetary allocation for students. The committee also increased budgetary allocation of Ministry of Defense from 476 billion naira to 546 billion naira following security concerns.
As far as we are concerned, we don't have that percentage anymore. We have increased the student loan. If you can recall, student loan was 5 billion naira in the budget, but now we have increased it from 5 to 10 billion so that our students can be able to access that facility in order for them to go to school and to be affordable for them. Office of the National Security, we know how important that office is. Initially, the initial budget was 27 billion, but currently we have increased their budget to 50 billion naira. While the State House, the initial budget was 28, and we still maintain that figure as 28 billion naira as well. Ministry of Agri, we know how important that ministry is. You're talking about the food security, and of course, it's very critical and important to our people across the nation.
Bichi also disclosed that the minimum wage for workers was considered and approved for onward transmission to the executive, while promising proper legislative oversight to ensure 100% implementation. Sandra Akbar reporting for Global TV News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Financial Crimes has declared readiness to bring to justice enablers of financial crimes and criminalities in the country. Chairman of the committee, Jinja Obina, made the declaration at the maiden meeting of the panel Tuesday at the National Assembly. The lawmaker, while restating the 10th Assembly's resolve to end the era of corruption in the country, said it would roll out strategies and policies necessary to safeguard the nation's financial system and uphold the rule of law. He affirmed further that lawmakers' confidence and capabilities to tackle the innate challenges of financial crimes in the country. In another development, House Committee on Police Affairs has stated renewed resolve to tackle insecurity head-on in the country. Chairman of the committee, Maki Yalema, was addressing an inaugural meeting on Tuesday at the National Assembly and charged members of committees to work hard to achieve the goal. He said the members have already been empowered by constituents and entrusted by the Speaker with the responsibility of overseeing key issues relating to policing and law enforcement. The lawmaker added that the different shades of security challenges facing many parts of the country require urgent attention and solution. Hence, the committee holds it as a responsibility to guarantee a safe country for citizens who now increasingly look up to their representatives and leaders for answers through strengthening of law and order, protecting lives and property, as well as building confidence in the country's security institutions. The House of Representatives Committee on Information and Communication Technology, ICT, has promised to introduce a legislation that will drive the country into compliance. Sharon Ajay reports that this is part of the promise made by the Chairman, House Committee on Information Communication Technology, Stanley Olajide, during the inauguration meeting of the committee at the National Assembly Complex in Abuja.
The chairman says his committee, amongst others, will cooperate with the Communication Ministry with the aim of coming out with a comprehensive national policy on ICT, as well as liaise with other House committees to bring them in conformity with global best practices.
Also, we will be liaising with other committees to promote and actualize information technology in Nigeria, advising the House on information technology issues requiring legislation and review of existing legislation on information technology to bring them into conformity with international best practices. All matters concerning information technology development and utilization in Nigeria will be our focus.
Members of the committee, in their responses, assured of 100% support for the success of the committee, with the agreement that the country is at a critical stage of its development, especially in the area of ICT.
We're at a very critical point in the development of our country, especially with regards to IT. The world has gone far ahead. You hear of seminars on AI happening in the UK, and it's actually taking over our schools today, our children. It's something we must pay attention to as a committee, regulating it. Secondly, the federal government, especially the IT sector, has gone light years ahead of the rest of the executive council with regards to setting an agenda. The technology hubs, the ICT entrepreneurial schemes. I want to crave the indulgence of the chairman, who is very capable and well able, to see how we can establish the necessary frameworks to be able to make sure that even with the speed, they are still operating within the frameworks that are set.
Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The candidate of the Social Democratic Party in the November 11, 2023 governorship election in Kogi State, Murtala Ajaka, is calling on the Inspector General of Police and heads of security agencies to ensure the security of lives and property before, during, and after the poll. Ajaka made the call while addressing journalists in Abuja yesterday ahead of the governorship election slated for this Saturday. Kikelemo Okere has details for us.
Addressing newsmen in Abuja, Ajaka alleged that he has been a target of attack and assassination attempts since the commencement of campaign in the state.
That Mr. Bertrand Onoha, the Commissioner of Police in Kogi State, and Mr. Tosin, the Director of DSS in Kogi State, and Navy Commodore Ajulu are the people behind this arrangement, and their intention is to get me eliminated. And I'm aware of the contract between them and Ayabelo. We are calling on the federal government I'm calling on the Mr. President to please come to our aid. What we want in Kogi State is a peaceful election. Election is not war. We are not out for war. And there's nobody who is a thug where I come from. They are the ones.
Ajaka further alleged that 3 policemen attached to the residence of the Director General of his campaign team has been brutally murdered by suspected assassins.
The 3 policemen were killed by the adult thugs led by Commander Akelezi of the Nigerian Navy. This arrangement is being coordinated by the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Bertrand Onoha, the Commander of the Nigerian Navy, Navy Commodore Ajulu, and the Director of DSS, Mr. Tosin. These are the killer squad of Yaya Bello in Kogi State. And with these people in Kogi State for this election, I doubt if we will have a peaceful election. As I'm talking to you now, over 20 people are confirmed dead. And I don't know where their bodies are. They killed these people, shot them, and took their dead body away. And they are parading some people in Lokoja CID command that they are thugs. Among those that are parading is the DG New Media of my campaign, Mr. I.D. Ijele, who contested as Senator of Kogi East in the last general election. So I'm calling on the...
Brought to a close, the proceed to the force headquarters in a peaceful protest to further stress their demands. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
Meanwhile, ahead of the November 11 governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has declared that the police will remain neutral and ensure safety of lives and property during the Saturday's off-cycle elections. Speaking through the Force Public Relations Officer, Olomuyiwa Adejobi in Abuja, Egbetokun said their objective is to create an environment where all citizens can exercise their right to vote without fear or intimidation. Again, Kikelamo Okere has details for us.
Inspector General of Police Stanley warns all security aides and escorts to desist from accompanying their principals and politicians to polling booths and collation center during the election, as anyone found floating this directive will be severely sanctioned, while emphasizing that only security personnel specifically assigned to election duties are to be seen within and around the area.
The IGP urges all active electors to be law-abiding and turn out en masse to exercise their franchise. He, however, warns that the force will deal decisively with any individuals or groups that might want to test our common resolve and might to ensure a peaceful election.
He also enjoined all electorates and party supporters and leaders to shun vote buying, vote selling, hate speech, misinformation, and snatching of ballot boxes and other criminal acts, as the force headquarters and other security agencies will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that all violators of extant law will face the wrath of the law.
It remains a strict zero-tolerance policy towards any actions that could tarnish our reputation as the administration of justice.
He, however, reaffirmed the Nigerian police force commitment to upholding the highest standard of integrity, professionalism within the Nigerian police force.
The Socio-Economic Crisis and Accountability Project has threatened to sue President Bola Tinubu and Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma over an attack on the national president of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), Comrade Joe Ajaero. Ajaero was last week arrested by the police ahead of the statewide protests in Imo State. However, the police denied arresting him, stating that he was merely taken into protective custody to prevent a mob attack. Uzodinma, however, accused the Labour leader of meddling in the political affairs of the state. Hence, according to him, suing the Tinubu administration and Imo State governor over the brutal attack on NLC national president last week. Meanwhile, the organized labor comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria on Tuesday ordered a shutdown of electricity and fuel supplies in Imo State following the brutalization of the national president of the NLC, Joe Ajaero, last week by operatives of the Nigeria Police Force. The necking session ordered the immediate withdrawal of services and shutdown of Imo State. It says all workers and affiliates are expected to ensure compliance from wherever they are. All flights into and out of Imo State fuel supplies and electricity, he says, be stopped immediately as applicable. Or public and private sector workers were also ordered to immediately down tools indefinitely. The labor centers also directed aviation workers to ensure that flights into and outside the state are suspended. This is according to one of the decisions taken at the extraordinary National Executive Council meeting summoned by the TUC and NUC on Tuesday afternoon. The appeal court sitting in Abuja Tuesday upheld the judgment of the tribunal, which declared the Minister of Labour, Samuel Along, winner of the Plateau South senatorial election. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had declared Napoleon Bali of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, winner of the election with 148,844 votes, while Lalong scored 91,674 to come second in the February 25 election. However, Lalong asked the tribunal to nullify Bali's election on the grounds that the PDP did not have a proper party structure and as such could not field candidates for the election. The tribunal, in a unanimous judgment read by Justice Mohammed Tukar, said the PDP, having no structure, lacked the right to have taken part in the election. The tribunal therefore held that the votes scored by Bali in the February 25, 2023 general elections were wasted votes. You're watching Global TV Midday News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using our Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the Midday News returns, NEPC GIZ collaborates to promote Greek sector productivity. We'll tell you more about that story right after this short break. Do stay with us. This is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the Midday News from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The military and Inspector General of Police IGP Kayode Egbetekun have declared a battle against hoodlums who may be planning to snatch ballot boxes during Saturday's governorship election in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo State. The security chiefs threatened to deal with troublemakers, just as the police authorities said they had deployed 67,000 personnel in Kogi and Bayelsa states ahead of the polls. Speaking on the security operations for the election, the General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army Land Component Commander Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe, Major General Jamal Abdul Salam, warned anyone planning to snatch ballot boxes or cause trouble in the governorship poll to steer clear of the coastal states or face the consequences. Abdul Salam gave the directive while addressing troops and members of other security agencies during exercise Safe Conduct 2023 in Bayelsa State on Monday. This was contained in a statement by the Acting Director, 6th Division Army Public Relations, Major General Jonah Danjuma. On the foreign scene, Bangladesh has raised the minimum monthly pay for the country's 4 million garment workers by 56% on Tuesday, a decision immediately rejected by unions seeking a near tripling of the figure. The South Asian country's 3,500 garment factories account for around 85% of its $55 billion in annual exports, supplying many of the world's top fashion names. However, conditions are grim for many of the sector's 4 million workers, the vast majority of whom are women whose monthly pay starts at 8,300 taka, which is around $75. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, says it will continue to collaborate with the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NITI, and all relevant stakeholders in the Reconciliation Committee set up by President Bola Tinubu to investigate, review, and reconcile the financial records on alleged indebtedness to the Federation by both NNPC Limited and the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FARC. This is coming on the heels of calls by a non-governmental organization for a probe of several monies allegedly owed to the Federation by the National Oil Company. Petroleum tankers drivers have called on their members to be calm and go about their lawful duties pending the outcome of a court case between the drivers and the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG. Global TV correspondent Sobura Usman tells us more.
Lucky Oseswa and Danyabu Yusuf Ganga, who spoke with their colleagues in Abuja, advised them to be law-abiding and not take matters into their hands.
Go about their normal duties. Whoever molests them, they should please hold peace. They should please hold peace. Nobody should quarrel or fight anybody outside there. We are for peace, we are not for destruction. Because whatever happened in the wrong way, we don't know how it will end in the other way. But for that reason, we are now advising or appealing to all our members not to make any trouble outside there. But they should go and do their normal duties. Any molestation, they know who and who to call.
Everything is under control. And since everything is under control, the struggle have now shifted to court. There is no need coming to talk to people here on the press. I was now calling our members to go back to their normal duties. But the struggle to liberate PTD has just begun. So whether with press conference or no press conference, the struggle continues. Therefore, we must be peaceful in our conduct. But if we are challenged, we know where to go to protect ourselves.
The petroleum tanker driver is an arm of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG. Recall that the drivers accused NUPENG of trying to impose leadership candidates on them in their recent election. According to Danyabu Yusuf Ganga, a press statement is already prepared, but because the matter is presently in court, the issue cannot be mentioned or discussed outside the court. Sobura Usman, Global Television News, Abuja.
The Nigeria Customs Service has recommended collaboration between the service and maritime industry to unlock the immense potential of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The Controller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, made this recommendation at the 43rd Annual Council meeting and 18th Roundtable of Managing Directors and Exhibition of the Port Management Association of West and Central Africa in Lagos. The CGC stated that the objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Area presents a beacon of hope for Africa's economic transformation, ranging from promoting intra-African trade to sustainable economic growth. Nigerian Export Promotion Council (NEPC) and GIZ Move have collaborated to promote productivity in cashew and rice value chains. In a press release issued on Tuesday by the NEPC, the partnership was geared towards engaging critical stakeholders in the cashew and rice value chains. The Chief Executive Officer of the NEPC, Noye Ayeni, who was represented by the Council's Director of Policy and Strategy, Lawal Dalat, during a one-day program on intervention in cashew and rice value chains, recently noted that the NEPC GIZ program presented a veritable platform to ensure that the output from farm gate to aggregation, processing to certification, and from packing to export was in line with best practices. Ayeni explained that the Council was committed to the project and would ensure a successful delivery of the remaining components of the MOU. Kano State government has allocated more than 40 billion naira for road infrastructure as well as health-related projects within the state. This information was conveyed in a statement signed by Baba Alilu Dantiye, Kano's Commissioner for Information and Strategy, on Tuesday. He said that during its 8th session, the State Executive Council (SEC) approved the release of funds to advance project implementation. Notably, the Council authorized 15.974 billion naira for the State Ministry of Works and Housing to undertake the construction of the Danagundi Interchange underpass and flyover, along with 14.455 billion naira for the construction of the Taludu Interchange flyover. Furthermore, the commissioner confirmed the allocation of 3.360 billion naira to the ministry to facilitate an upward revision of rates for the of cover sewage conduits and road along the Jakara-Kwarin-Garu River. And that's it on Global TV Media News. Well, Star Times Channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Uyi Agumofwe. Thanking you so very much for watching.